And now little bits of painted beauty for troubled times. Here's MPT's Sue Copen.
It's not unusual for Annapolis resident Julie Heath to take a walk in this Anne Arundel County park. But these days, when she hits the trail, she sometimes will leave a little something behind for others.
I just wanted to share a little bits of joy for all the people who've been out walking all around the Annapolis area. And creating art is the perfect way for me to share joy.
Heath says becoming an artist has helped her through some difficult times. But rather than her usual work on canvas, she recently started painting these rocks, creating art for others to help them through this difficult time.
It was healing for me, so I thought perhaps it'd be healing for others if I could just share, like I call them, little pops of joy out there in the real world.
Heath creates her special rocks in this small studio in the basement of her home.
It's painting, it's paper, it's outdoor glue to make them secure, it's sparkles, it's everything. It's, again, the simple rule for me is to make someone happy when they find it and take it home.
One of the lucky ones is Heath's neighbor, Martha Janney.
I was walking the dog and I came home and there was this beautiful little butterfly. I don't know if you can see it, under my mailbox. And on the back, it says, what does it say? Peace rocks?
Peace rocks.
Yes, double entendre there, but it just made me happy.
Heath says she has just a few special designs for her rocks.
Butterflies, because I feel like that's kind of a rebirth. And the other ones are birds, flight. You know, I want freedom to these little pieces of art to evoke some sense of freedom. And then, of course, the ubiquitous hearts, which is just sharing love with people.
So if you find yourself on a path in the Annapolis area, be sure to look down. You just might find a little bit of peace in front of you. In Annapolis, Sue Copen for MPT News.
Now, gathering on the front steps of your home has taken on a whole new meaning in this pandemic, as our Sue Copen explains.
In this Annapolis neighborhood, several dozen families are taking to their porches and front steps. Everyone participants in the Front Steps Project. The Front Steps Project is a nationwide grassroots photography project. The goal, to bring communities together. It started in Massachusetts weeks ago and has spread to cities and towns around the country.
I know it started a while ago. I have a photographer friend in Pennsylvania that she had been doing them there. And so I knew it was a thing.
Thanks to a local post on social media about the project, Melissa Sorovi and her family had the chance to participate, and her daughter was all in.
She was happy to have her hair braided with curls in her hair and pick out her own outfit, and she was like, couldn't wait for them. We talked about them for about 2 days.
Neighbor and professional photographer Grace Medina got involved after also seeing something on social media.
My husband essentially kicked me out the door and said, go do something because, this is what you love doing.
Photographers volunteer to take the photos, asking only when possible that a donation be made to some charity or project. Medina's choice, a GoFundMe project created by a friend to get face masks to medical personnel on the pandemic frontline.
And he has organized this campaign for 10,000 masks for New York, but it has expanded so much that now they're shipping it to Boston and Detroit and other places in America.
Social distancing for the Front Steps Project is the rule of the day.
I'm using a long lens, so I'm away from people. I'm not trying to come up to anybody, but just to get people out the door, smile, break up the day.
And for the Sorovi family, it was a welcome change of pace.
That was the first time I haven't been in a t-shirt and shorts in about 6 weeks.
Oh, yeah. I haven't had makeup on for like 3 months.
Another neighbor, Wendy September, says participating in the project was a chance for her family to say thanks.
Our old nanny is an ICU nurse at Anne Arundel, so we've been supporting her and doing, posters for her, and we thank the mailman, and I explained to them that this is just another way of giving back.
I think this is just kind of goodwill of people coming together and pitching for a good cause.
In Annapolis, Sue Copen for State Circle.
As many small businesses fight to hang on, some entrepreneurs are just getting started, as our Sue Copen reports.
On site here we brew beer. We brew all kinds of beer, lagers, ales. We have our federal winery permit so we can do hard cider.
There's not much downtime for Nikki Seener at the newly opened Ten Eyck Brewing Company just off Route 50 in Queenstown.
We just wanted to have a really welcoming, open space that people would come and have a couple beers and invite their friends.
The microbrewery's name, part of her family.
The name came from my grandmother's side of the family. It's Dutch and it loosely means under or at the oak tree.
Seener says this microbrewery has been in the works for several years. She and her partners, all women, including Air Force veterans, 4 former members of the U.S. national rugby team, and Seener, who's a first responder, broke ground in August of last year. They opened this August during a pandemic.
It was scary, but after being, in this process for over two years, we just have to keep going. We can't just stop. I mean, we've already put so much money into it and effort and time.
These were brave women who decided to open this brewery.
Kevin Addix is the executive director of the Brewers Association of Maryland.
I'm confident now that they made the right decision to plow ahead and open up. They have been so busy, and the community has embraced them in Queenstown unlike anything that we've seen.
In fact, Addix says Maryland's craft brewing industry as a whole is growing.
In the last year, we've had about 15 breweries open their doors, with more in the works. Where we have seen the most growth have been in the smaller breweries, so not the larger breweries that end up being distributed around the state. It's the smaller ones that open up to serve the needs of a very, very small local community.
But Ten Eyck, like other breweries, is facing yet another challenge, a shortage of cans.
Because so many more breweries they were doing to go, they're using up more cans.
We've also seen many other products go into cans as well. And so the demand for aluminum has skyrocketed while supply has really slowed down.
Seener says they've tried to prepare, stockpiling cans and planning ahead for the challenges they'll face this winter. But for now,
steady as she goes. Yep, just keep making beer, and people are drinking it as fast as we can make it, so that's good.
In Queenstown, Sue Copen for State Circle.
With most schools and many extracurricular activities limited or suspended because of the pandemic, one community has found a creative way to keep kids engaged. Our Sue Copen has that story.
Class
and all you gotta do is dab it.
Is underway. And this outdoors art class
Are you done with this one?
is a community effort.
When COVID happened, and then the subsequent social injustice that was going on, we were trying to figure out ways to have more equitable access to programming within communities.
Everything's shutting down and kids being left out without communication, social skills, a place to, because all the after school programs and the summer camps were demolished because you couldn't go because of the pandemic.
Laura Brino and Ken Starks are with 2 of the half-dozen nonprofits in Annapolis that got together and pitched the idea of an outdoors classroom to the Annapolis Housing Authority. This classroom in the Robinwood neighborhood is the first of 2 that opened recently. 2 more are in the works, and additional 8 more are planned.
When you look at the pandemic and you look at all the things that's been going on from the pandemic, you think about the opportunities that's lost for the youth in our communities and them not being able to be mentored or have some kind of outreach programming.
Deontay Ward says this is very much a hands-on project.
We built the picnic tables and the benches. We wanted to do a community effort, so we walked around the community and asked people to donate and volunteer to be a part of it.
Look at this. I love that. Look at that.
Scott Clark is one of the teaching artists that meets weekly with the kids.
It's a work in progress, but it's fun, and we're learning just as much as they are. You know, we all have a part of us that's creative, and it's amazing what you can touch with people when you give them a paintbrush and a little bit of paint and just see what they can do.
And while the weather on this late October day is ideal, Preparations are underway to keep things going no matter what kind of weather comes their way.
We're going to try and figure out ways to keep it going and supply them with coats and gloves if we have to, and ourselves. And we're going to probably choose projects that'll be a little simpler that that we can do outdoors.
We would love for the whole community to come out, but that's not always possible. We'll take whoever shows up and we'll give them, if it's one kid, that kid will get a full service. If it's 20, those 20 will get a full service.
In Annapolis, Sue Copen for State Circle.